in chess, you get like there's a difference. You end up with the same pieces every game. Like there are 16 pawns on your side and 16 pawns on the opponent's side. But then in Scrabble, each game is different. I mean, you won't get to see one board here and another board there because the words will differ in every square.
Countries like Nigeria have made it a sport. It's a national sport. Sierra Leone has also done that. In Thailand, it has always been supported by the royalty.
Hi, welcome to Gen Season. I'm Anuradha and I'm here with Mohan Verghese Chunkath and Suyash Manchali. So Mohan Chunkath, a retired IAS officer and national Scrabble champion for many years. He's 69, he's here with us. And Suyash Manchali, he's 15 and one of the top players in Scrabble today. So welcome both of you and let's start talking about Scrabble. So tell me, Mohan,
Okay,
you were the first Indian to represent the
India in a world
Yeah,
championship.
in a world championship
So
in
world
1999.
Yeah. When world championships started, they were being held every 2 years. And alternate years, Hasbro and Mattel used to hold it. And so this time in 99, it was held in Melbourne, Australia. And I was representing India. There was a selection process here. We had a tournament in Hyderabad, which was organized by somebody called Damraj. And he was running a club called Zygo Scrabble. That was the beginning of Scrabble in India, so to speak. And he had conducted the tournament. And after the selection, I got selected and went to represent India in the Melbourne tournament. So for me also, that was the first World Scrabble Championship. And as I was mentioning, I had started playing very early, but never serious Scrabble. It was only in 1990s that when I went on study leave to University of Southern California, I got a chance to play at a club, the Eagle Rock Club in Los Angeles. And I started playing in tournaments also. So at that time, I was using the US dictionary, which used to be at that time called the OSPD, the Official Scrabble Players Dictionary. I'll talk more about dictionaries later on, but I just say that when I came to India, I had to switch to the International Dictionary because the World Championship was held with the International Dictionary. So I represented India and I finished in 21st place and I got an extra seat for India because at that time, India had only one seat in the World Championship. Yeah.
Wow. How many seats does it have now?
Now I think we have more than we usually use up. This time in Ghana, I think there were seats which we did not use. Suyash probably would know about it.
Yeah, Suyash,
Seven
how does it
seats.
feel
There were
listening to
seven
all this,
seats.
first of all?
It feels amazing to be part of this history because I never knew that Mohan sir was one of the very few people who participated in the 1999 World Championships. And it feels amazing to know that I have played with Mohan sir and it is an honor to play with him.
Oh, thank you, Suyash.
Yeah, so Suyash, you are in Bangalore, right? And Mohan, you're in Chennai, no?
That's right.
Okay, great.
Correct, yeah.
So you played together, you're saying. Where have you played together? Because I know there are a lot of tournaments happening over India and there are clubs and things in schools, etc.
So we have
So
mostly
last
played in tournaments, yeah. So
tournaments, yeah.
Okay.
there are two very strong players in Chennai, Ranganathan Chakravarti and Krishna Armugam. They are actually people who are my sparring partners, so to speak, here. So.
Okay. And Suyash, tell me, like, where do you play normally?
So at home, I have my mother and brother for company. Like we play daily, like we have a round robin, like every weekend or so. And then whenever we don't, we go to the club and catch a few games.
Okay. So why don't we start from the beginning again? You know, like Mohan, I remember before we started this call, you said that you started by playing at the kitchen table. right?
Yeah.
And Suyash, what about you? How did you start? Was it because I know there's a lot of it online now, right? So, and he mentioned looking at dictionaries and things like that. So, did you start by looking at a physical dictionary, or how was it for you when you started?
No, it was completely different for me because when I started playing, I started. So I did not get that interest by myself because my mother was the one who initiated it with me. In like, I mean, she initiated it because when she was in her teens, she was playing the game, and then after a couple of years, she left it. But then in 2017, she rediscovered it as a game, and then she began playing online, and that's where I come in. So I was like, Mom, what are those small square tiles? Why are there numbers inscribed on it? I wanted to know more about it. So what she did was she taught me about the game, and then slowly I caught up with her. And back in those days, we used to have those metal boards which do not rotate, and we used to play on those boards, and it was fun, because I was young. She used to teach me some moves, and that's where my Scrabble journey started.
But what about
When
dictionaries?
we
Yeah,
started,
yeah.
yeah, when I started playing, we didn't even have clocks. Clocks were a rarity. We had to hunt around for a clock even because timed games were not there. And we never had any online resources at that time. And only after in 90s the Scrabble scene started changing. There are a lot of programmers and mathematicians who are interested in Scrabble, and which is a great thing because there was always some programs being developed for Scrabble. So I used to play uh, Scrabble, as I said, in a very primitive way without the help of aids to begin with. But then I was always keeping abreast with what was developing in the rest of the world because once the Scrabble bug bit me the second time round, I never let go of it. And I used to be into crosswords for a long time. I used to play chess, I used to play bridge. But then after I started playing Scrabble, all the others kind of took a second seat. And when I was in US, I was very fortunate to be friends with a person in the club who was actually a cab driver. And he used to play very good Scrabble. And the bonus for me was that he used to take me around from one club to another, from one tournament to another. So I used to get a chance to go to many clubs and uh, get a lot of experience playing, all of which got me really hooked onto the game. And Scrabble studying came to me later for Scrabble. I was interested in words for a very long time, and I used to read the dictionary after the coin incident, which I told you
Yeah, no, I
about
think you
how
should
my.
tell us again after
Oh, I should tell you
once
again.
you finish telling us
So,
this. Yeah.
yeah, so I
Mm.
was around 14 when one of my mother's friends dropped in at home and she was visiting from Bahrain. And I still remember we were playing Scrabble and she said that, would you like to play a game of Scrabble? And we said yes. And then she made this play, which was Quoin, coin, which means a cornerstone of a building. And it just uh, blew my mind. And I said that, hey, where is the dictionary? And I started looking at the dictionary which my dad had. He was also into crosswords, but not in a very big way. But I got totally hooked on to crosswords and word games from that moment on. And one of the things which I remember doing is going to the British Council Library and picking up a book on etymology and Latin and Greek roots, which was there for biologists. And I quickly consumed the book because it was so interestingly written. And even today, I take pride in the fact that, unlike many of the players who don't pay as much attention to the word meanings. I feel always that I remember words better when I sort of know the meaning of the word. And some of these words stick to you because they are so odd, and you sort of, I still remember a word which I had played in Mumbai, one of the tournaments. I played a word Kunjivoi, Cunjevoi, and I don't think many people get a chance to play that word. And I
Yeah.
have played that word only twice. And it's actually a sea creature. But, unless you have seen the word before or have played it, you are unlikely to remember that word. But once you have seen it, you're going to remember it for life. Same way, I remember a very spectacular play which I had done. I'm sorry, I'm just going to tell
No,
this and then
please,
give
please carry
Suyash
on.
the chance
I can
to
see Suyash
talk
also really
about it.
enjoying it.
So there was this word hizzoner, and it is actually a contraction of his honor, which is used in court, and the spelling is Hizzoner. And I had managed to play it as an 8 letter word with the Z on the double letter and the whole word as a triple triple, and kind of scored gazillion points. So I have never got that score thereafter. So I so this is something which I just wanted to tell you. So this particular word, for example, is from his honor. That's the etymology of the word. So each one of these words, have their meanings, and if you sort of look at it, you will find it very interesting. Similarly, the Scrabble dictionary, the International Scrabble dictionary, we have a lot of words which are from Shakespeare, which are from Spencer, and unless you can learn it just as a word, or you can learn it as a word which has a meaning. So I think I have spoken enough. I'll let Suyash go on as to his methodology of studying.
Yeah, Suyash, anything you want to say? I can see that you're really listening with rapt attention to what he's saying. I never heard of any of these words, by the way. None of them.
Same here. I have never heard of Kunja Boy, neither his honor. I just looked it up and I'm like, wow, Mohan sir made these amazing, beautiful words. So, what most of the scrabblers do is we go by probability wise, playability wise, and I prefer to go by probability wise because you see, it's the maths that really matters at this point. Because let's just say that you pick a couple of random tiles, the probability of you picking 7 letters like AEINORT, you can make a word with it like Oterine, Noter. So most of them prefer to go by probability, and I am one of those few people. So
Okay, let
what
me
I
uh, let
read,
me make a small interjection, Suyash. Why don't you look at playability, which is an even better metric to go by? I don't know if you have come across it. So there is this Canadian, no, he's American player, John Laughlin. What he did was he made two very strong computer programs play a zillion games against each other, and then did a word frequency analysis and found out which words got played more often. So what happens with probability is that the word may be probable in terms of appearing on your rack, but it may not be as playable. So sometimes it may be better to use playability. And luckily, the study aid which we use most often, which is Zizaiba, which is incidentally the name of a curculeonid weevil, is actually giving both probability and playability. So it's really a choice for you, and you can see whether playability works a little better for you in the future.
so what I did this year, Mohan sir, was that I did use playability order. I asked some people about playability order, but then I didn't feel like it suited me because I used to get like easier words in the start, and then like the Q, Z, X. J, they all used to get, they are at the start of the playability order. So I think that's a little unconventional when you compare it to the probability order. So I didn't really like that method.
Okay, the cost of not knowing the word which has a Q or a Z is so high that the playability makes a difference. Think about it, and you could probably look at it all over again as a consequence of this interview. That I've always believed that one should keep looking at how one can improve one's learning methodology. People use Zizaiva, some people use Aerolate, there are others who use word walls. These are all online resources or apps which are there, which are freely available and which really gives you an edge. In fact, the youngsters are playing so much better today because they have access to all these and they are able to do their studying in a more systematic manner because we did not have these tools. Now, as you said, the moment you are doing it by probability, you are already 10 steps ahead of the average player. Most people who play at home or even in a club, in a club, of course, they would by now know, but they are not going to know Oterine or Iterio or all the words which you said because it's high in probability, but it's very low in terms of visibility in the English dictionary or in common usage. So necessarily you have to look at all these things and start uh, looking at different ways of studying. I still use an old DOS program which John Chu had developed, which is a Perl script. I use that while studying. I don't think Suyash would even have heard of it. It's but that program is still there. My daughter also used to play at the time when she was of Suyash's age. She used to be, once upon a long time back, a junior champion in Scrabble, and she became a junior champion in a tournament in Hyderabad. But when I started asking her to start studying words, that's when she threw up her hand and said that, look, I play Scrabble only for fun. I don't want to start learning all these words. So there you go.
Yeah. So, Suyash, just for the lay person, it's sounding very technical to me. What is probability that you used? No? You said like you have a deck of these seven letters and you use probability. So, can you just give an example how that works?
So imagine an empty board in front of you, and then after that, out of all the letters that you get, the highest, what are the most probable letters that you're going to get. For example, like there are 9 A's, 9 I's, 12 E's, and out of all of that, what word are you going to get on your rack? Which word are you going to end up with? So that is what probability defines, whereas playability is like on the board, which board are you tending to play? Like you have a closed board, and then you finally find a word, but then it does not play on the board. So I think that's what playability corresponds to, and probability is like only applies to the starting rack.
Okay, okay. How is
Can
it
I just
helpful
make
in
a
games? Yeah, yeah.
small interjection here? You see, when Alfred Butts developed the game, he used actually letter frequencies which are found in English language by looking at newspapers. And the Scrabble letter or the tile distribution reflects what are the commonest letters. So if you look at any corpora which has got a large number of words, you'll see that E, T, A, O, I, N, S, H. I'm actually telling it to you in the order in which the frequency occurs. So this is the frequency with which the words appear, and the Scrabble tile distribution reflects that, and which is why you will find that the one pointers are the ones which are useful for making a bingo, the E, T, A, O, I, N, which I just mentioned. So what Suyash is saying is that probability is the key of how you sort of balance your rack. Everybody will talk about rack balancing, and this is what it really means. You see, you have no control over the tiles you pick up, but you have a lot of control over the tiles you play. So you shape your rack, the 7 tiles you have, so that your probability of getting a bingo, which is the playing all the 7 tiles,
And getting a
becomes
plus
more.
50, getting a plus 50 over that. Yeah.
Exactly. So you need to be able to shape your rack, and that's why people like to say that it's almost like life. You are just dealt with some cards, and how you play it is what really determines. See, this is the real distinction between chess and Scrabble. Chess is a deterministic game. That means every move is available for you and it is right on the board. There is no element of chance. Whereas in Scrabble, every time you put your hand into the bag, you are going to draw tiles which may work for you, which may not work for you. But you have control over what you play. So you necessarily have to be very careful about the tiles you play away. How do you score? How do you? And the other distinction which I would say is that chess allows you to worry only about the real checkmate only is what you have to worry. Of course, you have to worry about material advantage and all that. But in Scrabble, at every move, you have to worry whether the board should be open, the board should be closed. Do I use my heavy tiles now, score a little more, or do I score a little less and shape my racks so that I can make a bingo? So, it's what I would say is optimizing many factors. It's a multifactorial optimization. Whereas chess, the objective is very, very clear. Get material advantage, make the other person's king. So that's the difference. And in chess, there is no question of tracking the tiles. In Scrabble, we track the tiles. We keep track of how many vowels are going, how many consonants are there, how does the ratio look, how does the larger, that is the bigger tiles and the S's and the J and Q, have they come out, not come out? Will they allow you to play a bingo, not allow you to play a bingo, etc. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So Suyash, how do you see it? Like, do you play chess and do you also look at it this way? Or let's say, like, what is it about Scrabble that you really, really like, and what you would like to tell people asking you, why do you play Scrabble? Why don't you play chess or both or whatever, or just people can't understand why one would play Scrabble, right? Even me, because chess is a professional game, it's more high profiles, why Scrabble? So how do you look at the game?
There's a very huge difference between chess and Scrabble. I mean, the clock is still there on the table, but then in chess, you get like there's a difference. You end up with the same pieces every game. Like there are 16 pawns on your side and 16 pawns on the opponent's side. But then in Scrabble, each game is different. I mean, you won't get to see one board here and another board there because the words will differ in every square. So Scrabble is basically a blend of words, meanings, I mean, words and meanings, both of them, maths, tracking, of course, and then your time management because it really matters how much time you use for each turn. And let's see, because chess is at a very high level, I mean, in terms of recognition, but then
Yeah.
Scrabble is still at its foundation. And this is a very important point because Scrabble manages four important factors, that is, word knowledge, time management, luck factor, and the mathematics. Because mathematics is a very important factor in Scrabble and it is an important factor in the world too. And I think this is a very good game than when I compare it with chess. So I was hooked to chess for some time, but then I realized that Scrabble is a much better game, and I switched from chess to Scrabble.
Wow. So you actually switched. You prefer it. So you're declaring that. That's really great. And another thing I'm curious, like Mohan mentioned, like looking at physical dictionaries, different kinds of dictionaries. And I was saying that even in my generation, when I was growing up, it was actually a thing, leafing through the dictionary. And my nephew, we play at home, and he's 13. And he picked up the dictionary because we were playing Scrabble. And I was so pleased because it's been lying in the house gathering dust and it's never been picked up, by the kids in the house. So what about you? Do you look at physical dictionaries? Is that a thing or is everything is online? What is your study, your preparation?
So, I mean, I have never ever picked up a dictionary in my life, probably an Oxford or Cambridge dictionary, but then
Yeah.
we have a dictionary. We have like an OSPD dictionary and a CSW 19 dictionary, which is like a 2 years old, and another one was like 20 or 25 years old, which my mom used. So it's very rare that people today of my age look into dictionaries. But then for Scrabble tournaments, what I usually do is I dedicate 1 hour of every day to Scrabble. Like I hop on to any Scrabble tool like Ziziva, like Mohan sir mentioned, Ziziva, Aerolith, and even Google's. Google's is a software where is an online website where you get to play games with other people and the computer as well. So Ziziva is the app which you can use for the probability and playability stuff. And Aerolith, I only do one particular quiz on Aerolith, and it is really helpful. Which this quiz gives me like the high probable ones which are bound to appear on my rack, but then the ones which are tough. I mean, if I'll tell this to Mohan sir because he'll understand this part. Mohan sir, when you get like AEINORT, you won't find it tough to crack because you know it's notar and otarine. But then when you get ACEHNOPT, you do realize that's a little tough because the it is a tough one and it starts with a weird letter. And the answer to that is cenotaph, that is CENOTAPH. And that quiz is really helpful. And I think those are the only two. And apart from that, I only play games on Google's.
So before Google, there used to be something called ISC. I don't know whether Suyash has played on that. It's the International Scrabble online Scrabble club was there, ISC. It used to be hosted in Romania for copyright reasons. That is because this is the point which I wanted to say. See, most of us would like Scrabble to get more support and become more popular, etc. One thing which has happened to Scrabble is that Scrabble is actually a proprietary game which is copyrighted. So the game is copyrighted by Hasbro in North America and Mattel in the rest of the world. So Canada and North America use the US dictionary and Mattel uses the international dictionary. So because it's a copyrighted game, the copyright holders do control to some extent how the game is growing. And because it's a copyrighted game, it is not considered by many countries as a sport, which really requires to change because this game requires to be supported because it's a wonderful game. And as Suyash was saying, if people get to know Scrabble a little closer, they will find it's a tremendous game which requires all the support. Countries like Nigeria have made it a sport. It's a national sport. Sierra Leone has also done that. In Thailand, it has always been supported by the royalty. We used to have the King's Cup and the Queen's Cup in Thailand. So Singapore is on the verge of recognizing it as a national sport. In fact, just 2 days back, Ricky, one of the Singaporean players, had said that the government is on the verge of giving the recognition for Scrabble. So, because this is a game which has got so many uh, dimensions to it, both the math part and the language part, word meaning part. it's a real all-round game, which, by the time the kid is around 8 or 9, once they become a little more skilled in numeracy also, they can start playing Scrabble. In fact, one of very, very great Indian players, Akshay Bhandarkar, who has also been a world champion, started playing when he was 9. His mother, Mangala Bhandarkar, taught him Scrabble. So, and I'm sure now things are moved to a point where Suyash probably started learning when he was 7 or 8. I know Madhav started when he was around 7 or 8. So people start picking up the game very, very early. And they also really have an advantage when they start young because their minds can soak up the words so much faster. See, there are only a few people like Nigel Richards, who our friend Rajiv Antao had also mentioned. He has a mind of a mnemonic, which means that he can just look at a page, he can remember whatever is on it. So he has done several very unique things. I'll just mention them. He can keep both the US dictionary and the international dictionary straight, which is quite difficult because every now and then people remove words because of expurgation of words. And to keep both the dictionaries is very difficult in your mind. Nigel has managed to do that. Nigel has also managed to learn the French dictionary and become a world champion in French. He has also done this in Spanish. So this is something which person like Nigel can do, but not everybody can do. So we have to necessarily make use of other learning aids like Zizaiva and Aerolith, etc. But the one thing where Nigel also has to learn from others is on strategy. Many players like Ganesh Ashirvadam from Singapore or David Elder from Australia, they have got a better strategic outlook towards the game. And that's why they can sometimes beat Nigel, even though Nigel's word knowledge may be perfect. So this is something which makes this game really fascinating. And even today, the best computer programs cannot consistently beat a very good Scrabble player.
Yeah.
Suyash?
Uh, I completely support Mohan sir's statements, but then I refuse to accept that Nigel differs in his strategies because whenever he makes a move, he does not like he takes some time to it and he always thinks about it. He does it in a hurry. He does not do it like he's not panicking. And even though he does it sometimes, even if you think that it is a bad move, usually the commentators also add that the engine would have done the same move. So Nigel is considered not human because of his amazing rack reading skills and also because of his strategy. I think that's it.
Yeah, unfortunately, Suyash has, I don't think, had a chance to play with Ganesh Ashirvadam, who I consider, in terms of tactics, a superior player. Unfortunately, Ganesh has stopped playing Scrabble. And I still remember a Causeway tournament in which his average score for the tournament was 530. I don't think anybody has come even close to it. So, and he had played Nigel several times in that tournament, which is, of course, is very possible. See, Nigel's board vision is uncanny. He is the person who can play words, through separated tiles. He can play a 10-letter word through 3 separated tiles. He can plonk the 7 tiles and make a word. I absolutely no question that his board vision is really superb. But in terms of strategy, I think there are certain things where he must be doing something slightly suboptimal, which is why a person like Ganesh is able to beat him. Even David has beaten him several times. He's an Australian player, very, very strong player. In fact, it's very interesting. David is also a poker player, so he's really into probabilities. Jim Geary from US also used to be a poker player who used to play Scrabble. He's the person who had played Water Zooey. He had fished for Water Zooey. I don't know whether you remember this play. Uh, so, of course, Nigel is a superb Scrabble player. There's no denying it. I'm not trying to take away from anything from Nigel, but as I said, he has this added advantage that he knows the dictionary code. So if even after that, if he is losing, there must be something which is lacking in his strategy.
Yeah. Suyash, Mohan also mentioned that, Scrabble should be considered a professional game, right? So do you think it should enjoy that status? You also feel that?
Yes, definitely. Because it also helps you in your school stuff. Because it basically involves timing, I mean, time management, English, and maths. And these are really important in your school curriculum because even as you proceed after 10th, 11th, and 12th, maths is an important topic. I mean, who won't write JE or NEET without knowing maths?
Yeah. Yeah, so something that you're preparing for now. So you're in class 11. So I'm sure your Scrabble playing will help you there. So you have an unfair advantage now over your classmates. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. So tell me, Suyash, you've played at the World Youth Championship where Madhav Kamath became the #1 World Youth Champion, right? And you were also there and you scored fifth, right? You came fifth there,
Correct.
which is huge, So congratulations on that. So tell me, how is it when you're playing there and when you're playing in India? What is the difference? How many people? What is the scale? How does it work?
So when you're going to play there, it's really different, because you're not playing with the usual adults you see every time. You're going to be playing with a set of small, chuttu little people around you, and even the taller ones, the ones taller than me. So you get to play with the actual youth, and that is a whole new different feeling. And I've been fortunate enough to play this World Youth Scrabble Championships like 7 times now. So I think
Okay.
it is really different.
So when did
And
you
I've
start?
also
Under
been
12 also you played, right? You played under 12, under 14. These are all the international ones. That's what you're mentioning?
correct, yes.
See, I'll just clarify the World Youth Scrabble Championship is open to all children who are below 18 years.
Okay.
And they let them all play in the same field. And then they give whoever is in a particular age category who has finished first. That's what he meant when
Correct.
he said under 14, under 12,
Okay.
under
Okay.
11, etc. So
Right.
the tournament is one tournament, the World Youth Championship.
Hmm.
And this time, for example, the fifth position and the first position with Madhav has got is in the overall championship.
Okay.
So, in whatever age category you take, Madhav has finished first. So
Okay.
whether it's under 18 or under 16, it is immaterial.
Yeah. And how many
Because
kids
he
were
is
there, Suyash? How many?
216.
yeah, 200.
216. Oh, awesome. For both of
Yeah.
you. So is there a
Okay,
lot
the
of stress?
other
Huh.
point which I wanted to mention about Scrabble is, unlike chess, Scrabble is split between many languages. So you have French, you have Spanish, you have German, you have English speaking. And because of that, is another reason why it hasn't caught the world by fire, so to speak, because it's such a beautiful game that if more people play it, they will understand the subtleties involved in the game. Because when we just play as a four-person game, the luck factor becomes all important. But we play Scrabble only as one-on-one because the luck factor has to be made less. Even then, there is luck factor, but over the course of a longish tournament, the luck factor kind of disappears, and it's the same guys who end up at the top.
Yeah.
So that's so the game of has got luck in if you take any one individual game, and against two very strong players who are almost equal rating, you'll find that luck is the one which determines who
Yeah, but
won
here it's
a particular
the
game.
strategy,
Yes.
there's skill, there's so many other things as well. So,
Yeah.
Suyash, like Mohan mentioned, there are other languages also involved. So, like when I do the cryptic crossword, sometimes I attempted the New York Times one. There are so many, or even the mini crossword. There's so much slang, pop culture, so many things, even Spanish. So, I know a smattering of Spanish, I can catch those words and things like that. And sometimes I feel that, there are some words from pop culture which are from my generation that you may not know. So how is it when you're playing internationally? There must be so many words which you don't understand the reference to. Or does that happen? Like some words take you by surprise or something like that? How is it when you're playing abroad?
I don't think some words like it's really rare to see those words because I don't think the younger generation would also know those words. So it's
Yeah.
really rare to see those words unless you have
Because you're
studied
playing the
them.
youth, you're playing then the same age group. Yeah.
Exactly,
They won't
yes.
know that. Yeah. Hmm.
And even if they do, it's like they probably would have studied it, and I would have either challenged it or I would have either let it go because I would probably know it. But then it wouldn't come to me as a surprise though.
Okay, but like if it's a Spanish word or a French word or something like that, which they are playing from their country, you've got an opponent from Spain maybe. So they have an advantage. So some
Not
slang,
really, because they
hmm,
would be playing the English language Scrabble with us. But I
which
don't think
he would have,
Suyash is going to play
yeah,
a Spanish Scrabble. That I said only Nigel can do.
yeah. And these
We
words
people
are
stick to
available.
English, right?
Yeah. So this repository is available to everybody.
Yeah, yeah. The
Yeah.
dictionary is available to everybody, but the thing is, when you come to lower probability words, you may not see it being played. That's the thing. Like you take a word like madafu. Now, it's just coconut water, but it's used in Africa. But English has taken that word. So same way, English has taken Havildar into its dictionary, or Risaldar into the dictionary, or Tehseen into the dictionary. So you are going to have a lot of words which are from very many different countries. So it's just that the dictionary which we use, which is the Chambers 20th Century Dictionary, which later became the Collins Scrabble
Yeah.
Dictionary,
The
is now
official
the
one. Huh.
copyright is owned
Yeah.
by them. They have absorbed all this into the English language. So,
Yeah.
what has happened actually is dictionary making itself has changed. In fact, I'll just say a few things about it.
Yeah.
Earlier dictionaries used to be what are called prescriptive. When Samuel Johnson made the dictionary, he said this is how the word should be, and this is how it should be spelt, and this is how it should be used. Now the word dictionaries are not prescriptive; they're descriptive. They describe the language as it is being used.
Right.
So
Right.
how you make a dictionary is you take a very large corpora, that is all the words used in spoken or written language, and do a frequency analysis and find out what are the ones which meet a particular cutoff in terms of frequency, and you say these are words. So some of these words may not be acceptable grammatically, but they can become words. They can be slang words. So
Yeah.
provided that word gets recognized by the dictionary committee and the dictionary makers, it becomes a word. So a word like hentai, which was never a very common word, has now become a good word. Or any one of the new list words which Suyash can tell very many such words. The
Yeah.
bigger problem for older players is to let go of words. We keep getting words which are removed from the dictionary. You see, take a word like lesbian. Lesbian is good, but
Hmm.
the short form for it, the contraction, is considered an offensive
Yeah.
word,
It's like
and it is no longer good.
right.
Similarly, LES used to be good. For the same reason, it got removed.
Yeah.
No longer can we use the word negro or nigger
Yeah.
because these are also words which cannot be used. So there are a whole bunch of words which have gone. And you have, like, for example, words which ought to have gone if this criteria was used, like paraya,
Yeah.
is still there in the
Till then.
dictionary.
Hmm.
So you come across many oddities like that, and which makes the task difficult because it's not logical why a particular word has been removed and why a
Yeah.
word still stays in.
Yeah. So what
So
about yeah.
there is a bunch of people who believe that the language is as it is and all these words should be accepted. And then there are those people who consider themselves woke and who feel that no, these words should not be there. But you never know where the line is to be drawn. So
Yeah, so
that's the
wokeism has got into
problem.
Scrabble as well. Interesting.
Yes, very much so.
So, tell me, Suyash, all these words we hear, no, Gen Z and Gen Alpha words, can you use them in Scrabble? Like Riz, Rizz. There are some others which I can't remember right now. Are those legitimate Scrabble words?
No, not really. I've never used them in a Scrabble game before. But
Hmm.
then some of them, which the newly added lists, I think some of them, like two or three, contain them. Like something like Doomer or something. Doomer,
Huh.
I think.
Okay. What does
Yeah,
it
Doomer
mean?
is a word in Scrabble.
Oh, it's a word.
I do. I don't know. I had to check it. I think it means person who predicts the imminent collapse of human civilization.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a doomer. Oh, it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It even makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Not bad.
Yeah,
So,
and many more words have been added to the dictionary, but then I'm not too familiar with them because, well, I let's just say that I have not gone through the list that often.
yeah, okay. So suppose you say goated. Goat is a word, of course, because a goat is an animal and goat is greatest of all time. I'm just showing off here, that I know what it means. Okay. But can you say goated? Can you use that in Scrabble?
No, goated is
Oh my
not
God.
good, but a
Huh.
very similar sounding goats is good. GOATSCD.
Oh, what is
No,
that?
that's not valid.
I'll have to look it up. I'll
Suyash
quickly
is
look
there
it
It's
up
not
looking
for
it up
valid.
you
for us.
because that's one of the things when you grow older, you
Yeah,
learn a word and then you forget it.
yeah.
Goats is valid. GOATSE is valid.
What does it mean? Does it say?
Goatses, right? Yeah. Goatses means a deliberately shocking and offensive, usually pornographic image placed maliciously by someone into a website.
Oh, okay. Somebody has thought of a word for this. That's very
Yes.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So we have
amazing.
doxing, that
Yeah,
is,
we have doxing. Doxing is a word now. Yeah, a proper word.
yeah, yeah.
Hmm. So tell me, Suyash, you go to school, you're in class 11, and your word knowledge is, of course, off the charts. So, do you use words like, I'm not saying to show off, but because you know these words, do you end up using it in conversation with your friends? What is
No,
their reaction? No?
no,
You avoid it completely? So you must be censoring your thoughts then.
no, not really. I mean,
Hmm.
I do use like normal English words, but then it's not like I go into a class and say, "Hi, my name is Hexere" or something like that, because these words are Scrabble words and they are only meant for Scrabble and the words that which are related to Scrabble. And
But I don't know. I would like to use some words, because what happens is, like Mohan, you may relate, when you learn a new word, you want to use it, right? So, like I was talking to Rajiv Antao recently and, came across this word viewee, Viewy, and it means having an opinion or having a view, basically. So I was just, in the chat also saying, I'd love to say, oh, how viewy of you, or something like that,
So
So,
there are lots of
yeah.
very odd sounding words like styly. Like, for
Huh.
example, you're not going to use styly because people are going to look at you very oddly if you use a word like that. So I
Huh.
agree with Suyash, some of the Scrabble words you kind of keep away from using it in common conversation. I'm very curious to know from Suyash whether he has any classmates of his who play Scrabble
Yeah.
or he's all by himself in his class.
uh, I'm not sure, but then I do have one friend who does play Scrabble.
Hmm.
But then it's like he only plays it because his sister plays it, and his sister is still small. So
Okay.
Okay. But are you like a star in school because you're a Scrabble champion?
Hard.
No, like if you were like playing chess, everybody would know, right? So sorry to say that. I hope I'm not sounding rude, but you know what I mean, because you are a champion, you are a star, right? So do people know? I mean, because you're there, do you try to propagate it? Tell people, "Okay, listen, we're having a game here. Why don't you join in?" Does all that happen? Are people more interested because you're playing it? They have a star in their midst.
not really, because they are Gen Z, and what they are much into are phones and mobiles and stuff. So what I do is, I do some of them are bound with curiosity, and sometimes once in a while they do ask me, how do you play Scrabble? How long have you been playing it? Where are you right now? What's your ranking? They do get interesting questions like that, and I do sometimes prompt them to join the game, but then prompt them to join the game. But then, see, they're also writing the IITs with me, so they also don't
Yeah,
have a lot of time.
yeah, that's true. So how do you find time, I'm sure even Mohan would like to know, because you're so busy, and I think there are constantly things happening around India, right? And not, I don't know how many tournaments, but you do have a fair number through the year, right? So how do you manage to find time? Let's say, how busy is it for you, Suyash? Like, how many clubs are you a part of? How many, like, is it like once a month you play a tournament, once in 6 months? How does it work?
So I don't really have a particular schedule to attend tournaments,
Yeah.
because I want to get mainly practice for the next WIC, and for the other tournaments, I want to get more experience at this point. But then I do get practice in the clubs. I'm only part of the Bangalore Scrabble Club at this point, which is very huge. It has like around 100 to 150 people.
Wow, it's really grown.
Yes, sir. And
That's really wonderful. Yeah.
it's, I mean, it's not that really that difficult, because every day you just have to like dedicate 1 hour of Scrabble into your timetable. Like, I come home at like 4:30, I just refresh myself, drink milk, and then after that I just sit down to do Scrabble for 1 hour, just 1 hour exact. And then after that 1 hour, I just go back to whatever my chemistry teacher gave homework, my math teacher, the sums which he practiced on the board, I just redo them again, and that's just what my normal day looks like. But then for the days which are nearing my tournament, I'll just have to inform the class teacher about me not coming that day, and I'll just dedicate extra hours of Scrabble before the tournaments, like 2 or 3 days before the tournament, especially if it is a very important tournament like the WIC.
Great. So the
Incidentally,
school
are
is
you coming
supportive.
to the Hyderabad tournament?
Yes, I am.
You are. Okay, great. See you there.
See
Multitasking.
you there.
Multitasking, studying and doing all this. Very
Yeah,
good.
actually, it is really challenging for somebody who's in this IIT thing to find the time, etc., to study 1 hour a day is incredible.
It's incredible,
Hats
and
off
it's
to
great that
Suyash.
parents are
Yeah,
supporting and the school is supporting,
yeah,
because 11th and 12th is so stressful for everybody all around,
that's
So
right.
it's really great. So tell me, Mohan, how active are you now in Scrabble? Are you active at all? You've
I
even
have actually become
designed
more
crosswords,
active.
right? You were also done
Actually, I have
online.
become more active now. During the last 6 or 8 years, I was not very active because I was holding down fairly responsible jobs in the government. I was forest secretary, environment and forest secretary, and then later on, I was chief secretary. Post retirement, I was also secretary of Oroville. So I have had a lot of time constraints being placed on me. But I never gave up playing Scrabble. I used to try to play Scrabble as often as I could. But tournaments had to take a bit of a back seat. And I'm coming back into Scrabble now that I have kind of fully retired. I play a lot more Scrabble, and I find that I'm doing a lot more studying also now. I had at one point not been studying regularly, which is very key, which Suyash mentioned. You have to study an hour a day, or at least 40-45 minutes. You have to find the time because uh, the words need to be anchored again and again, especially the force. I think the most difficult list of words is the force. I don't know how Suyash manages, and their hooks. See, it's not enough to just know the word. You must know that a word like west or lest takes an S at the end. You can't say, oh, I don't know whether it takes an S or not, because the game may hinge on you knowing whether it takes an S or not. Or a word like vast, you think is an adjective. Oh, maybe it takes an S, maybe it doesn't take an S. You have to know that it does take an S. And you have to be 100% sure, because one lost turn, you can blow up your game. So there is not enough room for making mistakes and recovering from it. You can postpone a bingo and play it one move later. Even that may be very expensive. But if you make a word which is a non-word and get it off the board, you're practically given away 60 points and lost the game. What do you say, Suyash? You agree with me, or you think it's
Well,
too
recovering
drastic?
from a game is really difficult, but then yeah, it's better to make no mistake. It's better to make like suboptimal moves than optimal move. You're at least getting points. But
Yeah.
if you play that phony, you're going to lose a turn. Your opponent is going to know what tiles you have, and if you are in bad luck, the opponent may even as well capitalize on that mistake. So yeah,
The cost is too
that's
high
dangerous.
to make a mistake. That's basically. Mm.
Yeah, but what I'm finding wonderful is that, across generations, both of you, you're also studying, he's also studying 45 minutes to an hour every day. That is just so nice. It's really, really
Mm.
nice. And I think when you play in your clubs and tournaments, is it like age-wise or any age plays with any,
No, no, it's we are all put together. So we have A division players, B division players, C division players, but that's on the basis of ability, not age. So Suyash must have been an A division player for as long as he can remember, probably, because he has been playing at a high level for a long time. So that's one of the things which happens. I always try to find time for Scrabble because I joke about it and I say Scrabble is my life, the rest is a game. And in fact, my wife even made a T-shirt for me which says that. So, so that's how passionate I am about the game, and I'm sure Suyash is also equally passionate
I
because
think he's going to
once
get
the
that t-shirt.
yeah. So,
Yeah. That's fantastic, and I'm just thinking that we have all these conversations around longevity and multi-generational spaces, and here you're doing it. It's natural, you just based on ability you play. So, what is
yeah.
the oldest, that oldest player that you've played with, Suyash, and who is the youngest that you played with, Mohan? How does it work? If
I think the
Let me
youngest for
think a
me
little
has
bit because I
been
have to count my
Madhav for
points.
a very long time because I
Madhav,
used
okay.
to go to Delhi
Hmm.
often when I was Secretary Auroville, and I go across to Sudhir's house and get to play with Madhav 1 or 2 games.
How old was he
And
then?
he was around 7 or 8.
Oh, how sweet.
Yeah,
Huh.
because I was there till 2019. I was in Auroville. So I'm talking 6 years back. Yeah, about
Yeah,
8 or 9.
yeah.
So that's what his age
But
was.
formally, when you play in a tournament, what is the
Sorry?
average? When you play in a tournament formally,
In the tournament, you meet all ages, but I'm probably one of the older people.
yeah.
There are a few players who may be older than me. The Bangalore tournament, for example, the Singapore player Tony Sims comes. He's older than me. But now, mostly people who play are younger than me. I don't think there are too
Hmm.
many people who are older than me
Yeah, so
who are
how young?
still
Like, what is
active.
the age group that you play with normally? Is it a lot of people who are Suyash's age, or, what is it like?
I think the average Scrabbler will be around 35 to 40,
Okay.
not very much
Hmm.
younger.
Yeah.
Suyash and all are outliers. There may be how many players who are playing in the A division who are of your age, maybe three or four. In any one tournament you go, there'll be four or five people.
Okay. So do you get a lot of people your age, Suyash? You and Madhav and others like you? Are there many of you?
Uh, yes, there are like 12 of us at this in the moment.
Hmm.
We all of us represented India in Malaysia to
Okay.
2025, the one which Madhav won.
Hmm.
But then we don't really get to see them as much as we would like to because we constantly attend tournaments and they don't. You see, because we love the game, we play the game for the love of it, and
Yeah.
it's not all that often we see those the youth at tournaments, but
Hmm.
then we do end up meeting each other over the board, like me and Madhav, or probably me and my brother. So my
Hmm.
brother also plays Scrabble.
Okay. How old is he?
He is 12.
12.
He's 12.
What's his name?
Summer. His name is Summer.
Samarth, huh? Okay. Okay.
See, one
Nice.
of the reasons why people are not able to play as much is the tournament prize monies are quite low.
Yeah,
But
which
it
is why it
doesn't
should be a
cover, yeah,
professional
it doesn't cover
status.
our travel costs or stay costs and things like that. So it becomes difficult for people to go there unless, as you were mentioning, you have very supportive parents and who say, okay, you go. So one of the things, if Scrabble is recognized as a sport would be, straight away you get this half concession for air and for railways,
Yeah.
which now you don't get that at all. Similarly, if the prize money is increased to something which is a little more significant, there'll be more people taking the game
Hmm.
on. And maybe people have to appeal to Government of India, especially now that we have a world youth champion
Right.
who is from India. This is
Hmm.
probably the right time for a concerted effort to be made to get it recognized as a sport so that it can get the support which is required. For the first time after a long time, SR was supporting the World Youth Scrabble thing.
Oh,
Uh, uh,
that's
uh,
big. Hmm.
yeah, before that, we had the German company, which was, I think it was Hext, which was supporting Mumbai Scrabble. But it's been, and then the Bangalore Mu Sigma has been supporting for a while the Scrabble tournament. So we need corporate sponsorship. It should be something which should be allowed for CSR so that people can very readily open the purse strings and make payment available or monies available for encouraging the game, because there's no doubt about it that the game has a lot of potential and we have a very large English speaking population here. Pakistan, for example, is doing remarkably well because it's again very, very confined. It's just Karachi which plays Scrabble.
Okay.
95% of Pakistani players are from Karachi. Same way, Sri Lanka supports Scrabble. So Pakistan has been producing very good players, and it's probably it was a good thing that our friends, both of them did so well. Because I think there was a Ghanaian player or a Nigerian player who was very close to winning, no, the World Youth Championship. He was from Ghana, if I remember correctly. The very strong players in Ghana, Nigeria, then again in South Africa. It's all because there is a lot more visibility and support for the game.
Yeah.
So I hope that your podcast makes people more aware of
I hope so.
the
I'm
game.
loving talking to all of you. Really, I spoke to
Thank you.
Rajiv and the from the Scrabble Association, and he's himself one of the top-rated players. And I'm talking to you, so it's just wonderful. I've even joined the Scrabble. I've taken membership also.
of Sai. Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
So
Welcome
nice,
aboard.
Yeah, and I'm really very happy, what a nice
So,
bunch
are
of
you coming to
people.
Hyderabad? I should have asked you that
Oh, I
question.
have
I
no
only
idea.
asked.
I'll start getting active. I'm a very regular player, I just play at home. And that's what I'm realizing that,
Where are you based? You are in Mumbai
Noida,
or?
Noida. I divide my
Oh,
time
you are
between
in
Noida
Noida.
and
Okay.
Lucknow. Yeah.
So then you should get in touch with Sudhir and
I will. I'll be going.
Sunny, and
Yeah,
they will
I am in touch.
tell you when, because they have one days very often, so that
Yeah.
you don't really have to play a 3 day event. You can play the 1 day event
They
and
have one coming
get
up
a
in
feel for
December.
the tournament.
Yeah, but
They
I'm the
they have
worst
it very
player.
often. They
I'm the
have it
worst
very
player
often.
even at home, I'm like so absent-minded, and then I
That's how we all
realize
started.
I realized later, oh, I should have made that, so that's what
No, actually, when you're playing, you have to develop a rhythm for the tracking part of it. You have to
yeah.
play the clock, and everything has to be done in a particular way. Otherwise, you'll find yourself out of time.
Yeah, no, we play
So,
a lot as a
what he said
family.
about
Yeah.
time management is very correct,
Yeah.
because your game starts becoming wobbly if you're under time pressure.
I think we're
Because there
25
are
minutes
some
per
players who
player,
have,
right? 25 minutes per player. That's what it is?
yeah, 25 minutes per player, and an average game is 13 to 14 moves, which means, you hardly have 2 minutes per move.
Yeah.
And some moves require a slightly deeper analysis. So you are always short on time.
Yeah.
Unless you are a player from Thailand like Pakon, who is able to sort of play with 1 second left on the clock, or
Wow.
even as the clock is, they'll
These
freeze it at that point
so many people
when
you've
it is run
mentioned,
out.
they all sound like legends, really. I
Yeah,
wish, like, somebody like Suyash, I wish you could just be a professional Scrabble player, Why do you have to even think about all this JEE and all? You can just be a professional player. I hope your parents are not listening to me right now. So, but it should be an option, for at some
yeah.
point for people, because it's a game, yeah, and it's like you said, it's not just luck, it's skill, it's strategy, everything.
No, in fact, there was a move to say that it was a game of chance,
Yeah.
uh, because they were wanting some tax benefit. That's the
Hmm.
problem with having a company own the copyright.
Yeah.
They sort of look at that. See, both Mattel and Hasbro are only interested in selling more boards. They are not doing enough for promoting the game, whereas they should be far more active in encouraging school Scrabble, because that's where the recruiting ground is. And we have enough and more children who are English speakers and who can definitely learn the game and learn the strategies. Beautiful game which really
Beautiful game,
needs.
yes, absolutely. And it's keeping kids off video games and learning words and vocabulary, and it's beautiful, yeah. So any closing remarks? I know it's getting late for both of you. And I'm more worried about Suyash because he has to study, I'm sure, and do his 1 hour of practice. So, any closing remarks? Mohan, you first.
Any last questions you would like to ask, you can please ask. And as I said, we have to find a way to get Scrabble support
Yeah, yeah.
from corporates,
True.
and also enlarge the pool of players who are there, because this is a game which is very richly deserving to be expanded in terms of people who are going to sort of get into it. And somebody has to make a strong pitch to Government of India also, so that it's recognized as a sport which is supported by the government. So
Yes,
that's
absolutely.
what I would like to say.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Let's
was
do
wonderful
that.
talking to you. It was a great opportunity that you gave this old fogey a chance to
Oh,
talk.
no, no.
And this
Suyash, anything
youngster.
you want to say?
I just am really happy to be here on your podcast, and it is really amazing to have me and Mohan sir in here. And I would also like to add to everyone who's listening to this podcast to do play Scrabble, try Scrabble, and I hope you get addicted to it. Looking forward to see you all listeners.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
Thank you.
yeah. Bye bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.